Welcome back to the Convince Me podcast, where we're on a mission to help you step outside of your whatever comfort zone we're talking about this week and try something new. Let's get to convincing. It's been forever. A lot
It's
of life
been
things have
so
happened.
long.
Let's talk about it. So,
It-
in the last few months that it's been since we've recorded, the holidays have come and gone. Ryan's son's birthday happened. I've done effectively 2 consecutive days worth of continuing education so that I can keep, my actual human job. And it's just been a time, but now we're back and we're back with a
Better than
convince
ever.
me to go episode where we played these games a super toasty minute ago, and now we're going to talk about them. So today I will be attempting to convince Ryan to play Deus Ex: The Conspiracy remake that is on the PlayStation 5, but still is basically a direct port
Remaster,
of
right? Remaster?
remaster remake. I don't know. It's
They're
basically a
remaking
direct
Deus
port
Ex.
with
I do know
modern
that.
things.
Yeah.
And Ryan will be attempting to convince me to play Jeanne d'Arc because why not?
And last time we
Ryan,
met,
what's new?
the last episode we did was Pokemon Legends Z Day. That was the
Was it
last
technically the last episode we did? Gaming, sure. Okay.
gaming. Yes, the last episode we did was an anime. But last gaming episode, it was Pokemon Legends. Which since that episode, Darren has played and finished the Mega Dimensions DLC. And
hmm
did you like it? Was it worth your time?
Yeah. I thought
That's
it was
good.
a good time. It was more of what it already was, but with newer Pokemon.
Sure,
I think
sure.
where that game really hangs kind of nebulously is right now is that we don't know if it's going to get Pokemon Home support. I mean, if it does get Pokemon Home support, will we be able to transfer those Pokemon with their Mega Stones to Pokemon Home? Because once that happens, then it kind of opens up the whole, okay, well, now we'll know what abilities the new Megas have and blah blah blah. Because my problem currently stands is if I can't transfer anything to Pokemon Home, then really and truly this is the first Pokemon game they've released in forever that you can't pass progress forward.
Mm,
And that would feel like a strange decision, but I am not the Pokemon company and I have no idea.
sure. Before we get to our actual games, I have a couple questions because we haven't had a question
Yeah.
time, and I've been sitting on these questions honestly for a minute. So,
Yeah.
first question, number one:
Uh-huh.
only one can stay. Only one can stay. Dearly beloved, two Xanark and Streets of Whiterun. Only one can stay. Two have to go.
Which dearly beloved?
Your favorite one? That's. I thought of that
Streets of
question.
Whiterun. Streets of Whiterun. No diff.
It clears the other two.
Yeah, it does. Because Tizanarkind isn't my favorite song from Final Fantasy X. And Dearly Beloved is amazing, and the nostalgia I hold for it is incredible. But to this day, Streets of Whiterun is still one of those things that as because that you can't necessarily it doesn't only play in Whiterun. It can play kind of anywhere. And every time it plays, you get that little dopamine boost of excitement.
That's fair. There is something about Streets of Whiterun. I think that is a 100% fair statement. For me, just purely because of the connection, I keep Dearly Beloved. Like they I saw a YouTube comment years ago
Mm.
that basically said that Dearly Beloved feels like a panacea. It feels like a mental medicine when it comes on. Obviously there's nostalgia to it, duh. But the song itself, the sweeping strings and the piano and all the other instruments that hit, it is such a good feeling that I don't disagree that it is like an emotional medicine when you listen to, honestly, most versions, I'm not going to say all, most versions of Dearly Beloved feel so good to listen to.
Yeah.
And yeah, like obviously it is a hard choice for these three. I think it sounds like Tizanarkand is would be like if you kept two to Xanarkin would go. But
Well, but again, To Xanarkand isn't even my favorite
I
song
know
from
that's
10.
why I said what
So
is
yeah,
your
for sure.
what's your song from 10?
A Fleeting Dream.
Mm. Okay. I thought you were gonna say Besaid.
Listen, it's a jam though. No one will ever take that away from it.
Yeah, no, that's
And
fair.
then of
But
course there's the Blitzball song, because God knows if anybody's actually played Final Fantasy X as intended, you have heard that song in your dreams, your nightmares, your subconscious thought. It has been everywhere.
is there a I don't want this to come across as though it's like I wonder. I know the answer to this question. Is there a song, a video game song that haunts your dreams?
You know the answer to that question. And the worst part is it's not just a video game song. And so anytime I hear it anywhere, anywhere to this day, it is a visceral like anger from deep within.
The issue is that it is a Disney Renaissance song, so like whenever you hear like Best of Disney or whatever, it's there.
It is. It's Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. Um and that is entirely 100% because of the loop that it plays in Kingdom Hearts 1.
It plays like a 20-second loop. It's
And for
not
whatever
long.
reason, I feel like you are in Atlantica for so long in Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't know if that's like accurate at all, but I feel like you're there forever.
It's because it's a water level and the controls are completely different than almost every other level except for
It's
you're
true.
flying in Peter Pan. But other than that,
This is true.
like it's the only level where your controls are just completely different. And it's
It's
just
true.
it's an awful level. But
Da,
um
da, 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 da. Oh my god. It's and you hear it and you know it because the steel pan is everywhere, and it's that just you hear it. Oh god, it's so angry every time.
you
Legitimate.
if you have
Oh,
background music for a level in a JRPG game, your loop has to last because if it's I think the Little Mermaid loop is probably let's let's no, I can't look cuz it's going to be like 10 minutes. But I think the loop
yeah.
in Atlantica, I think it's got to be like a minute, maybe like a
Well, the
minute and a
problem
half or
is
so.
every time, if I'm remembering this correctly, I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but this might just be how badly my mind is polluted against this song. I'm pretty sure every time combat starts, when the music of combat in Atlantica ends, I'm pretty sure the song starts over,
It's the
which
stuff of your
just makes
nightmares.
it worse.
So that wasn't my second question. My second question, um, I've never actually asked you this because I don't know. So you have a game that you're currently playing, just in general. What is the minimum amount of time that you need to have to be able to set aside in order to just pick up a game and start playing? Like you're playing Witcher right now. You're playing Witcher 3, replaying it to get to the DLCs. What is the minimum amount of time that you need to have ahead of you in order for you to be like, all right, I'm going to pick this up and play it?
I mean that's hard because it really depends on the game. Because I mean, there's certain games you can pick up, play in a loop for a little bit, and put down. Um, with a game like The Witcher, I'd like to have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours that I can sit down and dedicate to it, because I mean,
It's an
certain
undertaking.
tasks just take time, and it's the unaccounted for time is where you can really lose out potentially on the time you've set aside. So like right now I'm going and I'm just, slaughtering cows to get their meat, milk, and pelts so that I can sell them to try to give me a bit more money at the early game, because money at the early game is just really hard to come by.
Yeah, you got to buy those Gwent
Um,
cards, man.
well, Gwent cards are definitely the priority. Not that expensive though. I really just I want to have the ability to purchase crafting materials as I need them when I need them,
Yeah, it's fair.
to be able to like make and upgrade things. Um, but the thing you don't necessarily account for is, okay, once you've defeated the number of cows you're looking for and you filled your inventory, now you're encumbered. So now you get on the horse, you ride to the fast travel point, you get to the other fast travel point, you walk to the place, you sell it. You keep selling to those places either by resetting a certain amount of time for their money inventory to reset, or traveling to different ones. Are you still encumbered? So like that whole loop can take 10 minutes. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you've only set aside a little bit of time for it, it you don't get to accomplish as much.
Well, so
And
that's
then of course there's other quests that just take a lot of time. So I mean it's with The Witcher it's more time. With a game like Pokemon, I mean it depends on what I'm trying to do. I can pick up play Pokemon for an hour and put it down. That's not a big deal.
so I'm
Uh,
saying, is there are you the kind of person who like, oh, I have like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Let me let me just hop on something real quick. Is that enough time for you, or like is it minimum like 30 minutes to an hour is your minimum?
I think it's got to be it's probably closer to an hour, honestly. Just because if I only have a half an hour, I feel like there's other things I could probably get done that are likely more productive, or
Yeah, it's
something
fair.
that fits the time better. I think I prefer to, if I know I have a certain amount of time, I want to choose to do something that closer fits that time and still
Yeah,
gives me some agency over it, as opposed to feeling like I'm running late,
that's fair because I know
because I don't want to do that.
you despise running late. Um,
I do.
so yeah, I think for me like 30 like yeah, I would say an hour minimum for me because if I have
Hmm.
30 minutes, like that's time I could spend use tidying up. I could get an
Hmm.
episode of anime and still have time left. Or, yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's an hour. I agree with that time. Um,
It's a similar question to how far before you need to do something do you start cooking dinner,
yeah,
knowing that you need to cook, you still have to eat, clean up whatever cleanup you got to do, and how much time do you want in between all of that and when you start doing something. Do you budget for time for things to go wrong with cooking, blah blah blah. So I
never.
mean
My
it's
cookie is perfect all the time.
I'm sure it isn't.
Hateful.
I
So
know better.
now that we've gotten through our questions, I'm so curious because you've hinted, but I haven't gone into any detail. Darren, please enlighten me on your experience with Deus Ex: The Conspiracy, and try to convince me to give it a shot.
Okay. Let's um let's start with a little background for people at home. My first Deus Ex game, before I became aware that it was a series, my first Deus Ex game was Human Revolution,
Good game.
um, PlayStation 3 specifically, and it was probably the first game outside of maybe Skyrim that I really felt like I immersed myself in fully. It was deep. It's more of an everything sim as much as it's a third person action shooter or a first person action shooter
Yeah,
situation.
it's. I think
Um,
would it be classified as an immersive sim? I actually don't know.
I do believe Deus Ex categorizes itself as a sim game
I
more
believe
than
that.
anything.
I'd absolutely believe that.
Um, I mean, it's an RPG at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
It's simply there's a lot of depth to the mechanics of simming. Deus Ex was for me really the first game that I ever played where you could choose if you wanted to be stealthy or if you just wanted to go in guns blazing, and there were rewards for doing it in different ways, and each way was rewarding in its own sense, just from the sense of accomplishment. So you could do any single thing in the game any way that you chose,
yeah, yeah,
and there wasn't really punishment for it. And that was my first foray into it. Now, Mankind Divided is a bit more divisive as a game, but I don't think it's absurd to say that in the PS3 generation life cycle,
Yeah.
Human Revolution was absolutely one of the better and probably more forgotten games, just because it was a bit niche as a title. I mean, it was right around the time that Square Enix bought out Eidos Montreal, um, and so you got a lot of Square IPs doing collabs with Deus Ex for one reason or another. But it didn't appeal to JRPG fans really because it wasn't a JRPG. But at the time, really the majority of JRPG fans were Japan, right? So Japan didn't take to Deus Ex too well. And people picking up and playing an IDOS game that was a Deus Ex title, I mean, it was a niche franchise. So it didn't do that well relative to what I honestly think it should have done. But now we come to the future of the past, and we get this remaster, remake, whatever port of the PlayStation 1 game, which I believe was just Deus Ex. I don't think it was the conspiracy originally.
No,
I think it was just the original Deus
I
Ex.
think it was like retitled The Conspiracy for whatever reason.
I think
Maybe.
so. And the game originally was created by um oh gosh, I've closed my tab. Nah, that's real bad. I don't know. Not
Ion
Eidos.
Ion Storm.
Ion Storm. That's it. Which is interesting because the publisher, as credited, is still Eidos Interactive Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
But at least that is the case for the PS4, PS5 port that came out. So Ion Storm, or also Eidos, the Eidos group.
Darren, can you tell the lovely people what Ion Storm is known for?
Sure. So have you heard of Daikatana? No,
Sure,
probably not.
I
What
sure
about
have.
Anachronics?
I have seen the I've seen the cover of it and maybe seen some screenshots.
Oh, yep. Nope, I've not heard of it either. And then, of course, Thief Deadly Shadows, which I remember having a lot of hype, a lot of pomp, and a lot of circumstance, and yet pretty sure that bankrupted the studio.
So Daikatana was this game forever ago. Actually, um, it was made. It was a game where like the head creator George Romero. Um, it was John Romero.
John
Jeez,
Romero.
John
Yeah.
Romero, who was heavily involved in Doom. He was the Doom co-creator. That's right. And this game had hype around the time of like, yo, this game is about to be lit. This game is about to be hype. And the co-creator of freaking Doom was involved. And so you're like, oh, FPS and the co-creator of Doom? Yeah, let's go. And then it released to a big wet fart. And it was very, very, very poorly received and was seen as just overall not a good game at all. Even though it had all this big hype and
Do,
everything behind it. And yeah,
do you know one
so
of the consoles it apparently came out for?
it would have been 64, I think, when it would have been that generation, I think.
It also came out for Game Boy Color.
Nice. Nice.
What a decision that was.
So
But
yeah,
anyway,
they
so we come to Deus Ex: The Conspiracy. I did not own a PlayStation 1. It is the only PlayStation console that I've ever not owned.
okay.
And I didn't really pick up first person shooters until the original Halo. And then consequently, Halo 2. So picking up this game, other than, graphically being a bit of a blast in the past, right? Um, because it is definitely not new. It's all of the 32-bit glory, but running at 60 frames a second. It is
Mm-hmm.
always interesting to watch 32-bit run it 64 or at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun. It's very fluid. It immediately, the first 15-20 minutes, I spent tweaking the sensitivity on the controls, and just the controls in general, because I couldn't, like, it was so slow, so sluggish.
Hmm.
Just looking around felt as though my joystick itself was in sand. So that took some maneuvering.
Were you able
Um,
to fix it?
yeah,
Finally.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I got it to a place where it felt what I'll call more modern.
Okay. Fair enough.
Um, you're right away pretty much met with the ability to allocate a certain number of what are effectively experience points to immediately start off your build.
Would you classify it as an RPG, or does it have RPG elements?
I'll go ahead and say it has RPG elements
Okay.
rather than calling it an RPG, strictly because right off the bat you're given a set number of points to allocate into your abilities to pretty much decide right away how do you want to play. Right? So do you want to go pistols? Do you want to go melee weapons? Do you want to go rifles or snipers? Um, do you like do would you rather be hacking and stealth? Right? You choose those directions immediately and you can immediately set yourself down those paths. Um,
Okay. And FPS, do you have iron sights, or is it like Borderlands 1 and all those older shooters where it's like, where you just like look closer to the gun in the background?
it depends on the gun.
Oh, okay.
So you do get a sniper for the very first mission of the game, and there is a scope.
Sweet.
Otherwise, it is pretty much you get a little closer to the gun and things zoom in a little bit as far as like the pistol is concerned. Um, you get a crowbar immediately, and you can start breaking apart trash bags and trash cans and wooden crates to find stuff. Which, honestly, for being a PS1 game, to have a breakable object that you go find things in, really quite impressive
Sure.
that they were that forward thinking. Assuming, caveat, a lot of these things I say, I'm assuming they were this way in the original. I do know that certain things have been made a bit more modern. Um, I don't know everything that is. So
So
I'm saying a lot of the things I'm saying, assuming that that's how it was
as far as I
potentially.
know, the Conspiracy was a PS2 game,
Two.
and what's on was a PS2 game.
Hmm.
And I think the one that's on PlayStation is literally just a here you go from PS2. So I think whatever you're experiencing is the PS2 version, because when you go to the Classics catalog, it's under the
Hmm.
Classics catalog as a PS2 game.
It is. That's correct. So apparently it was PS2 game 2002. I was mistaken. Um,
So what you're experiencing is
but that's
exactly
very new.
what it
That
was.
was a pretty new PS2 game, right? Like that's close to launch.
Yeah, that's almost that's pretty close to a launch title. Because PS3 was '06, and so that would have been like
March. Let's see, October 26th of 2000. So it's about a year and a half into the PlayStation 2's launch cycle.
So that's not bad. That's not
Not
bad.
bad at all.
Okay.
But either way, very forward thinking in the ability to have the breakable container with stuff in it. I know things like Resident Evil had done that. I'm pretty sure Metal Gear had done that at this point. Um, but I don't necessarily know how commonplace breakable thing with important resources was yet. Ratchet and Clank definitely did it, but I think that came out a
I mean,
little later.
if you're talking like in a as specifically that, like a lot of beat 'em ups, like Final Fight
Yeah,
and Streets of Rage
but I
and
guess in
like
terms of like
SNES.
RPGs,
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting
because
point.
it's definitely, I don't know, it's something that has definitely persisted the amount of time. But anyway, I was surprised that that was the case. I will say I was immediately annoyed
Uh
that in order to break a wooden container with a crowbar, you had to hit it multiple times.
oh. Oh.
And it just felt like that made it take longer and made me want to do it less. But of course, because this was the game, or this was a game where you didn't. start off with an extreme amount of ammo and there aren't ammo containers everywhere, you're not just going to walk up to a wooden crate and start shooting it for the sake of shooting it
I wonder if
because you couldn't.
I wonder if part of that is because was there stealth element to this game.
There was,
So I wonder if that's
but
because
not
like
in terms of sneaking. It was simply in terms of not being seen and try not to make a lot of noise.
well I wonder if it's because part of sneaking is if you beat a box or whatever, like that's your risk reward because like am I in an area where there's people and I have to risk breaking this box and getting caught? Like I don't know.
You know, I will say that when I did hit things with crowbars, it did not seem to draw in enemy areas. It did not seem to draw a lot of attention. Interestingly enough, the thing that drew a lot of attention. So, for example, the very first mission, there's a little area where you're trying to sneak in to find a terrorist group leader who was responsible for ferrying drugs out into New York for one
As you
reason
do,
or another.
as you do.
Of course. And as you're progressing through the area, there is a little like hallway, stairway area where each entrance point has a gas grenade rigged up like a mine. The grenade going off does not alert the people in the hallway. If you walk into the grenade when the gas is out and you grunt because the gas is damaging you, your grunt will alert the people.
Okay.
So, video games.
You know what's crazy though, and this goes back to the game Metal Gear Solid. Like the AI in those games on PS1 was so good. It was so good. That's
So
interesting
something.
though.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a thing. And I mean, like, okay, whatever. That means that the character is making a physical sound which alerts you, but like, you'd think the grenade would have been a little. Hmm.
But that could have happened with
Now, what could
anybody.
that have been?
That could have been an ally. But the
I
grunt,
suppose it could have.
that's an enemy.
I don't know. Combat wise, so you, interestingly enough, whether you were trying to do stealth or like I'm gonna blow everything away that moves, you were encouraged to move very fast
Your
because the
favorite.
gunplay is very imprecise,
Oh,
right? There's so much the sniper rifle. There's so much sway on it that unless you manage to get it perfectly as a headshot, they're not dropping. In fact, some of the enemies it felt like would take 2 to 4 body shots with a sniper rifle up close to die.
and experience in weapons, did that increase damage or anything?
It does,
Some
but
did you
it's
invest?
each little skill that you could increase only had 4 levels. Each one did progressively more of the thing it already did. Sometimes a new element was added.
Mm.
Um, and so like because I had remembered back from when I played Human Revolution, I really spec'd into pistols. Because after a point, the pistol was easily the best weapon in Deus Ex if you were consistently able to headshot. That is still the case here. If you can get to a point where you can headshot people with a pistol even early on, immediate one shot. The problem is because the gunplay is so imprecise, you have to run like right up to them
just,
with your
just
little reticle, like dead squarely here. And then, like, if they move, they hit you with a little 1-2, as
just
is
juke you
as
up.
is a thing they did back in the 32, 64, 100 and 132-bit era time, 128, whatever. With a whoop head fake, then you were gonna miss, and ammo was at a crazy premium. So
my
like,
my
don't
favorite
miss.
my favorite AI move.
And listen, man, they mastered that. And then the other thing is that they did crazy damage. So don't miss, don't die. But the nice thing is it's a modern emulated game. So what do you do if you do something stupid? Rewind.
Does PS Plus have that?
It did for this.
Oh, nice, nice.
Rewind. Um. So
What
like no
were
one remembered the mistakes I made.
I
Um.
didn't.
No. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it wasn't super clunky. I mean, the fact that I tried to aim the pistol to headshot from what I would consider like 20 feet away,
Yeah.
and you were just, even if you felt like you were dead center over it, it's not, you missed.
What were the controls? Aiming, shooting, menu,
Mm-hmm.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it two stick controls? Left stick, right stick?
Um. Yeah. Okay.
Oh boy.
Because I don't want to mess this up.
Oh boy.
Yep. I'm like, okay.
This is
All right.
alarming.
All right. Hold on. Hold on.
Holding, holding.
Hold on. I want. I want. Just give me the layout. Okay. All right. Imagine, if you will,
I am imagining.
moving left stick. You
So,
still aim right stick.
okay.
Interacting X button.
Yeah.
Shooting or use item R2. Reload square.
That's totally normal so far.
Uh, yep. So far, so good. Um, there's leans if you're in cover, but they don't really tell you how to do that. So L1, R1, sure, cool. Um, there's a whole thing of augmentations. The problem was, I remember pulling up inventory. Yeah. So the right side of the touchpad was, they mapped it to be your start button,
That's how
I believe.
all that's how all PS1, PS2, and
Mm,
PS3 games are.
mm.
Because they
Left
don't.
side, I believe, was select.
Yes. Because the select
Um,
button on a PS5 controller is share.
Yeah, but you pretty much had to do all of your rotating of things through your inventory, or you're just pressing swap over and over. And if you pressed it too many times, now you're recycling through the whole thing. This is one of those games where it would have tremendously been assisted by the quick select wheel that was just not a thing yet, really,
Yeah, no, not really.
except for when it was in Ratchet and Clank. But
So,
what do I know?
all in all, that
But I mean,
doesn't sound bad.
it wasn't. It just, when you're used to, if you can put aside how modern shooters feel,
Yeah.
which, to be fair, was probably my hardest adaptation to this game, coming from immediately having played Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a game farther away in every contrivable manner from Deus Ex: The Conspiracy to Borderlands 4. Um, but it didn't play bad. It was fine. It was probably a game that I think really will be more rewarding if you do try to take the stealthy approaches, because there's a lot of things to think about in the way that you can approach stealth. So one of the ways, because I after I beat this first mission, I certainly didn't use stealth, right? I would
No.
never
You never.
willingly do that, ever. So I went and I looked up a video of somebody completing the first mission of the game, and they chose to do it stealthy. And there were ways that you could pick up metal grates, if as long as your hands were empty, put them down, and you could use the really horrible clunky jump mechanic to actually jump up on top of shipping crates to get up to a ladder to get inside. They did tell you that that was a thing you could do in the mission brief at the beginning, but the idea of doing anything stealthy when their immediate next order is shoot on sight, those don't compute in this brain. Um,
So you just went guns a blazing.
so I did, yeah, of course, and ran out of ammo a ton. I had to try to beat people down with a crowbar a ton.
Half Life to it.
Hope for the best. Found myself into a defense bot where I had an EMP grenade that I probably had to rewind 6 or 7 times because the timing of grenades from throw to explosion just didn't work in my brain. So I probably made it a lot harder on myself than I needed to, considering the stealth way was demonstrably easier, at least as far as watching someone do it.
So it seems like the game itself didn't really have an issue. It seemed like your expectation, because it seems like you went in expecting similarities to Human Revolution because it's the same series, and it
Yeah,
wasn't that.
and that's and no, in a way. But what I had think I went into it thinking was I expect each of the options to complete it to feel similarly to each other,
To feel
right? If you're
viable.
somebody who, yes,
Mm,
and I can tell you at least this opening mission did not feel viable, guns blazing, almost at all.
sure.
Now, I got there, did it, it was fine, but I definitely think after watching the video of the guy doing stealth, 100% I did it the harder way. And
Okay.
it was considerably harder, not oh, there's a couple more people you have to do. No, 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 no. It was tremendously more complicated because of the path I chose. So, maybe at its core, it did want to lean more into the stealthy elements. Maybe it was trying to appeal to the Metal Gear audience at the time and try to pull them away to see if they could, you know, bring people to a new IP. Um, in that sense, then, I actually think you would enjoy it far more than I did.
Because stealth is an option. Because
Well,
stealth
not
is
so much
rewarding.
because stealth is an option, because even in watching the video and watching how it did, the stealth looked like it felt better
Hmm. Okay.
than a lot of the gunplay did.
Okay.
Right? It's gunplay when you have to, not gunplay as the core mechanic.
Understood. It sounds like I could give it a shot. When we were talking on the phone, you talking about it just made it was like, oh, I don't
Listen,
think he liked it.
I am not going to sit here and pretend I liked it. I did not. But that is because the way that I have always played Deus Ex was not as viable as I had hoped it would be. And when you throw that into the the controls not feeling modern and aiming not feeling very good and the guns feeling tremendously inaccurate, like that for me basically it took a lot of my enjoyment out of the game because I don't want to do things
Yeah,
stealthy if I have an option of two things, right?
yeah.
Like
Your
we've been
issue
over
is
this.
expectation. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's totally fair. And
Hmm.
yeah. If I have time, um,
But I will say
we'll
they made a PS2 game look very good.
sure. 60 FPS is always fun.
Well,
So
not even that. I mean, even the like JPEG images of in the first mission, the like skyline of the city in the background looked fantastic, even though it was
it's
just basically a JPEG.
pre-rendered
It looked
backgrounds and
tremendous.
well done skyboxes and things are like
Hmm.
that was something that was I never really experienced because that was like I feel like the best pre-rendered backgrounds or JPEGs or whatever a lot of the time were in JRPGs, which I didn't start until way later.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, that's
And and don't forget because I kind of left this bit out. Don't forget that this is from the golden era of voice acting,
oh man.
and then we're just gonna leave that little sprinkle right on there.
Now bear my Arctic blast. So
What are you doing here? Oh, me?
pain. No, I Darren and I are suckers for voice acting follies. It's that was me. That yeah, no, we're suckers for fun voice acting bits. So moving to the other side,
Hmm.
my game was Jeanne d'Arc by level 5. Level 5 has made actually some very memorable experiences for me. Uh, so as far as I know, they have been involved in Dragon Quest 8 and on. I don't know if they've gone through 11, but I know they were involved in like 8 and 9. Um, and Nino Kuni, which was is a very 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 beloved game to me. Um, I was one of the very few people apparently that enjoyed Nino Kuni too. It seems a lot of people didn't. I liked it. And Fantasy Life I, which is a game that I really really want to get, and I haven't yet. I just finished Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, and Fantasy Life I think is similar-ish. So I'm going aside from that. And then another
What
game that
else?
they
Oh,
were
what else did they do? Oh, what else? What's that other one?
another game that they were involved in making was White Knight Chronicles, which is kind of a meme between Darren and I because that game it was just so bad. Darren has nothing to say though cuz he beat it. I never got around to beating it, but he beat it.
I have plenty to say
And
because I beat it.
let me let me tell you something. Dan and I have this ongoing conversation about like worst JRPG character names, and White Knight Chronicles probably has one of the worst ones. Like I can deal with corny edgy name like Edge Maverick or whatever. Like whatever. That's edgy, it's
Or
JRPG what
Fate Line God.
whatever, right? That's a whole other thing. But when you have this JRPG character who's supposed to be saving the world and is a hero, and their name is Leonard, I don't know what you do about that. How do you beat Leonard as a protagonist name? It's hard, man. There have been some very good contenders recently, but Leonard is so far up there. And the thing that killed
Yeah.
us about White Knight Chronicles is that the beginning of the game, we were so hyped because I think we played a demo before playing the actual game. I can't remember. But you got to make a character and you got to customize them and make them your own, and you could be male or female. You could do so much. It was a very fun character creator from what I remember. I haven't touched it since release. But then you start the game and you realize that the game is not following the character you made. It's focusing on an entirely different character, and then eventually you come around to realizing, oh, I didn't make a protagonist. I made a background character who doesn't speak and doesn't need to be there. It made no sense for you to make a character who's not the main character. I don't understand. I don't get it. But
Now, to be fair, many Fire Emblem games until really Three Houses, you made a character that was not the main character.
no, but your
Who you
character
made
was at
you made
least
that
involved in the plot in some way.
not really, not usually. No, you were simply the tactician.
See,
So
but
they
like
literally like
they
third
look
wall
to
broke
you.
and made you. Yeah, right.
Sure,
But it was
but
never about you.
your character in
To
White
be
Knight
fair, to be
Chronicles,
fair,
if your
to be
character in White
fair.
Knight Chronicles wasn't there, nothing would change.
No,
Nothing.
not a thing. Oh, and then there's the best part was that then White Knight Chronicles 2 came out.
Yeah, it did.
And you could not even start White Knight Chronicles 2 without a completed save file on your PlayStation 3 from White Knight Chronicles 1. So you might have just gotten this game brand new. Your parents bought it for you $60. 50 I think it was $50 at the time because it was PlayStation 3. $50 brand new game that you now can't play until you have a clear save file
However,
of White Knight Chronicles
I
1.
will give them credit. As
I will
far as
not.
I remember,
No credit.
they packaged the first one in it. So it's not like you bought a game that was unplayable. Like you got White Knight Chronicles 1 when you
Did
bought
you?
the second one. I think it was a digital download of the first one or something. But White Knight Chronicles 2, brand new, you got White Knight Chronicles 1 to be able to play it, to play White Knight Chronicles 2. So
Yes, it was.
I give them credit for that, but goodness gracious, that game is very hated in the JRPG community. So anyway, all that to say, that is who made Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc is a strategy RPG that came out on PSP, and is I thought it was very I had fun. I had fun in the time that I played. The game starts off with so you know how certain JRPGs will have like an anime style cutscene during
Mm,
certain parts of the game, like Persona does it, and
mm.
like tons of games do it. The one that stands out to me is Persona, but this game starts off with a cartoon, and it is done in a style of a Saturday morning cartoon, and it looks really good. it's So well done. At first I was like, oh snap, an anime cutscene, and then as you're watching, you're listening to the voice acting and everything, it feels like you're watching a Saturday, it feels like you're watching, like, its art style is in the vein of like Transformers and like that type of Saturday morning cartoon. Really cool. And it's about Joan of Arc, who fought in the French English War forever ago, and you play on the French side, and the bad guys are the English side. So in this cutscene, there were
You mean to
five.
tell me you're injecting blue versus red on our podcast?
You
How
stay over
dare
there.
you?
You stay over there. So in this Saturday morning
We don't do
cartoon,
politics here.
you learn that there were five heroes who had these magic bands, and they used the power of the bands to turn the tide of war. And like you learned, the French England War, it lasts 90 years here, and the scene transfers to like a royal bedroom suite, and you see a dark wizard is attempting to do some magic ritual with the prince, and then it switches scenes to in-game graphics, and your dad asks you to drop something off at the church, and you play as Joan and her friend. And when you take this item to the church, you see that there is a dead soldier, a dead English soldier there. And you, as he comes in the scene, you see that there's like this glimmering thing, and he passes out, and you see that he has a mysterious armband that latches on to Jeanne. And right in that moment, like an orc goblin thing appears, and you gotta fight it. And it is very stereotypical fare. The thing is, Jeanne is like a regular villager girl in this village that she lives in, and
Hmm.
never swung a sword in her life. She does, like, at that time, what a typical farm woman would have done. So like, yeah, no combat experience at all.
Hmm.
And so she grabs the armband, and then she picks up a weapon, and a voice in her head says, "Fight, like you must fight." So the combat is basically, it's similar to any SRPG, more in the vein of like Final Fantasy Tactics more than Fire Emblem. Um,
Hmm.
you go up to the character, you head attack, they attack, turn over, and you finish the fight, you get experience, you level up, all that, and you get to a second fight, and you are overwhelmed in this fight. And when you are overwhelmed, she holds her armband up in the air, and you get to witness a Saturday morning cartoon style of a magic girl transformation. As she transforms, as her outfit transforms into this mystic Valkyrie knight, and it's really cool because Darren and I are suckers for a good magic girl transformation. And
Of course, they're goaded.
the armband, like, it's the armor, and you get stronger, you hit harder, and you actually unlock something called Godspeed, and it gives John multiple actions in a turn per round. And I noticed that I got to go a bunch of times because I would move up, attack, and she would one-shot the enemy I was fighting, and then I got to go again. And I'd move up, I attacked, one-shot the enemy I was fighting, and then she got to go again. So as far as I'm aware, Godspeed activated whenever she knocked out an enemy, and she got to take another turn. So pretty cool.
Hmm.
And that is the loop of the system. It does the thing that I like. So for those who don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know why, if I'm playing a game with a party and I control a character, most of the time I play a support character. When I play Battlefield in the past, I play the healer medic. When I play tabletop role playing games with my friends, I'm typically a support healer in some capacity. It is what it is. And
Marvel
so
Rivals, he's a healer.
I
Overwatch, he was a healer.
I was Cloak and Dagger is my main in Marvel Rivals. Mercy was my main in Overwatch. It just is what it is. It is an underappreciated role. If you're good at it, no,
White Mage was your main when we played Final Fantasy 14.
it is. If you're really good at it, no one cares. If you're bad at it, people say something. It's a very underappreciated, overcriticized role. I don't know why I play it, but this game does the thing that I like that most strategies that the RPGs at this point do, where every action you take gives experience. And I love
Mm.
that because there is
Mm-hmm.
no, like, you don't have to sit there and decide, like, oh, do I attack to get my experience or do I heal? So healing, casting spells, using items on allies, attacking,
Mm.
all of those give experience. So no matter what action you're taking, you're benefiting in some way. So that's super nice. I love that.
Sure.
And yeah, if I say it plays like Final
Tactics.
Fantasy Tactics, it's like, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's about as straightforward
Mm-hmm.
as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting in this game is that every combat you start off with 0 MP.
Interesting.
So you charge your MP each turn. So you can't go into combat being able to immediately heal or whatever, or cast strong spells if you need to. You have to build up to casting those spells. You can also
Sure.
use items to immediately bump up your MP.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that had to alter my mindset, because I'm used to casters cast, attackers attack. That's my mindset with these roles, but this game didn't really let you do that.
Mm.
So that was something that was different. They also have the closest comparison I can think is the faith in bravery in Final Fantasy Tactics, where
Mm-hmm.
they have spirit affinities. And the spirit affinities are Soul, Luna, and Stella. So you start, as far as I saw, the characters that I had started with no affinities, and you got items to change what affinity they were. And the stronger their
Mm.
affinity, the stronger the system works. And spells are also equipment that you equip onto people. Like, they don't level up, so you don't
Oh.
really have a mage character. You have characters who are most likely better at magic because of their stats, but you don't have this character's a mage, so as they get stronger, they get spells. You equip spells onto the people.
Sure.
But the way it works is Soul is strong against stars, Stella is
Sure.
strong against Luna, and Luna is strong against Soul.
We love rock, paper, scissors.
It's the rock paper scissors system, and you get advantage. And when you get that, you deal more damage, and you take less damage depending on your affinity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you have to keep into account. And then the other thing that stood out was the burning auras. So what that system was whenever you attack a foe, period, full stop, no matter what, on the opposite side of that foe, a burning aura appears. If you attack an enemy from inside the burning aura, you deal extra damage. So you're
Mm.
encouraged to build a flanking system.
Mm.
So you could literally ping pong an enemy back and forth. So I attack here, the other side gets an aura. If an ally's there, they attack, and then on the other side where my person originally was, another aura appears. So
Sure.
you can just ping pong baddies if you want. And that was fun. Backstabbing
Sounds
deals
like
extra
college
damage.
ping pong and baddies.
You smell. Um, and
How do you
yeah,
know?
through the, I was gonna say the TV.
Womp
But yeah,
womp.
so skill stones, you have three categories, or four types. There's coup de grace, latent skills, magic, and status boosts. And depending on what you equip, they give different things. Um, you can equip on weapons. You can equip on the character and things like that. It's a system that gives you complete control of the customization of the characters, which if you're into that, like yeah, it you can build your party pretty much however you want. Obviously, there's ideal because characters have different stats that level up differently, and so your character that would deal more magic, you want to give them magic, but you can give whoever you want whatever you want. There's no I didn't encounter a system that made it seem otherwise. I didn't get far enough in to unlock every mechanic or every system. There were definitely some things in the inventory system or like on the character screen that were things that I never saw what they were. But I played enough to get the gist of like what the game is going to feel like and how it's going to go. There was no difficulty meter, so like the game's difficulty is the game's difficulty.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the general gist of Jeanne d'Arc. It's pretty straightforward. It's like dark fantasy strategy RPG. Feels good. It's
Sure.
it's pretty snappy. Looks good. Um, and yeah, I can imagine that if I had learned of this game when you first got me my PSP Go, because like I had seen it, but I wasn't really
Hmm.
playing SRPGs at that time.
Sure.
So you know, and that's Jeanne d'Arc.
All right. I mean, hey, look, I like SRPGs in this way. Um, Final Fantasy Tactics. I actually have always somewhat preferred the Final Fantasy Tactics system to the Fire Emblem system, because I appreciate the tactical ramifications of battlefield elevation.
Sure.
Big fan of that. Always have been. And I mean, my first tactical RPG, I think, actually was Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I believe I played that before the original Fire Emblem. I can't remember.
My first was Fire
Um,
Emblem Awakening. That was my first ever
I know.
SRPG I
I
played.
remember. I got it for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, no need to
but I mean,
brag.
it was a Christmas present. Um, so I mean, yeah, I whether I ever play this or not, I don't know. But it's definitely like I'll stop ignoring that it exists when I have nothing to play.
Yeah, another
Um,
SRPG I want to play is Dark Deity. There are a few
mm,
SRPGs that kind of have been flying under the
yeah,
radar.
there's a new
I
one that
feel
I think
like
actually just came out a few months ago that has my attention. I played some of the demo. It's called Lost Eidolons.
Lost Islands I've
Uh,
seen. There's
Veil
one
of the
that
Witch, called Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch. It plays well. It's beautiful. The voice acting is incredible.
there's one that I had that I'm not gonna remember the name of it, but I had a lot of fun with it. That it was like pixelated, and I can't go through my
Hmm.
Steam library because there's no way I'm gonna find it. But like yeah, I've
I mean, the Metal Slug Tactics game was just on Humble Choice.
yeah,
I can't remember if it's this current month or if it was in December, but that's there too, of course.
it's the current
It's
humble bundle. Yeah,
January.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, there are a lot I want to play. Dark Deity 2 came out. There's so many. There's Fey Tactics. I
Sure.
yeah, I
It's a good genre. Honestly, it's a much more fun genre than I think people give credit for. I know people loved Advanced Wars back in the day as well.
dude, Advance Wars was so fun.
I was always more of a Fire Emblem and then Final Fantasy Tactics fan.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I'm glad it's vaguely on your radar. But before we wrap up
Yeah.
and go on our way, I'm curious. We were talking earlier when I was going out when I was walking the dog. It seems, Darren, that you potentially maybe are in a this, our dog's ball is at my feet. Um, are in a bit of a new game drought.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially after last year. I don't know if it's possible to not feel that way after last year when there were just bangers coming out at every turn.
Yeah.
Um this year so far for me, now again, granted, as of recording of this episode, we are in the final day of the first month of the year. So obviously things subject to change. But as it stands right now, the only game on my radar that's coming out in any type of proximity is Pokopia. And even that, I'm kind of like, how excited am I? I'm not much of a cozy gamer.
Yeah,
I'm doing it more for the Pokemon IP than the cozy brand, to
sure.
be fair. Um, and then I mean, what I can't even think of games coming out off the top of my head that have definitive release dates. Like Tides of Annihilation. Would love to see that we get a release date this year. Nothing has come out for a long time. Um would I suspect on Pokemon Day, which is February 27th. I'm sure we'll get an announcement of things also coming out this year. So there will be, that I will probably look forward to. Um
So January,
mhm,
a new Legend of Heroes, but I need to catch up on all those, but I think I'm gonna do them with their remakes that they're releasing. Um, January didn't have anything that would stand out to you other than potentially
mm-mm,
Code Vein 2, which people aren't receiving crazy well. Dragon
sure.
Quest 7 reimagined
Sure.
in 6 days. So
Which I love that.
that's on my radar after I finish Resident Evil 9, which comes out the
Mhm.
end of next month.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, the Wise 10 like basically director's release is coming out February 20th. Well, crap.
Mm.
That'll happen at some point. Tales of Berseria remastered. That's a fun one. So that's just January and February. So yeah, for you, nothing.
Oh,
March.
hey, but I mean, I could play Avowed on the PlayStation 5 February 17th. So like that's good.
Crimson Desert. No, that Crimson Desert should absolutely be on your radar.
It is, but
Crimson Desert
we'll
looks
see.
cool.
It does. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. I just need to see more of it, and I haven't paid a lot of attention to it, frankly.
I mean,
Um
that's honestly the reason I wasn't was because I thought it was a sequel to Black Desert, which is an MMO, and if I see MMO, I'm like, nah, I don't care.
right.
And so then you have May, which is 007.
Well, I mean, Sorrows is coming out at the end of April, which like
Uh,
interesting.
Wandering Sword, you should have your eye on.
I do, but maybe not as much as Lego Batman, which honestly looks incredible.
Sure.
Like
It,
unironically
it's
incredible
it's a
looking.
Lego game. Like you know exactly what you're getting with Lego games. That I'll give them that.
It's true.
Phantom Blade Zero
100%.
in September.
Pocopia in March. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 6, which a lot of people think is not going to be the case.
No, I think it comes out next year.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
it's
mean, let's just go through and look at some of these games that currently don't have release dates that would potentially be something on my radar, right? Beast of Reincarnation. So excited about it. Looks absolutely
it looks
incredible.
so cool.
The little like direct thing that they did for it and the new Fable made me
Oh,
fall in love with it
Fable,
even more.
man,
Fable, of
man.
course, that's another one right on this in this conversation now, right? Constance when it comes out for the PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Obviously, I love a good roguelike, or I guess not roguelike, but I love a good Metroidvania, and
Yeah,
that's one.
yeah.
um, so I'm just kind of scrolling through a list of stuff that's coming out that would be great if there were more information. Um, Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave, of course, but like
Oh, Fire
God
Emblem.
knows when we get a release date for that. Um, so I mean, yeah, there's plenty of things that are coming, but most of the stuff I'm excited about does not have a release date. I mean, I don't
But
know what to do with that necessarily.
there's
You
a
know what I
lot
mean?
of games that you never got to last year because there was such an onslaught. So like I think this is your best bet is this
I
timing
mean,
now.
you're right. You're right. There's so much like Digimon I still need to play. I still need to give a proper college try to um Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Um And yet instead, what am I playing? I'm replaying one of my favorite games of all time in The Witcher 3 because
Spend
I
another
haven't played
300
that game
hours in.
start to finish. Well, and that was again, that was 350 hours into that game without any of the DLC existing. So I mean, why not, right? This time I'll play the DLC. It'll be great. We'll have a great time. Um
So yeah,
I
you
don't know.
you
I just feel
you
like
have a
I've
journey
got
ahead of you.
stuff. I've got stuff. I just don't know when I'm going to do stuff.
It's whatever you feel like. If you don't feel like playing it, don't play it. Bottom line.
Yeah.
The amount of times I'll go on Reddit and I'll see somebody make a post that's like, this game it's just not sticking with me. Like, what should I do? And then every comment's
Mhm.
like, don't play it. That's
Mhm.
it. That's what you do. Don't play it if you're feeling that way about it. It's not a chore.
It's
It's not a
true.
job. Just don't play it.
It's true.
So
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I
no,
mean, it's
not at all.
I don't know. Like I
But
understand people's reluctance to put a game down, especially if they've paid for it. That does feel bad in the chest. But at the same time, like if it's we you play games for entertainment, for escapism, for fun, for whatever you play them for. It's playing a game. It's not a chore. It's
it's
not
not
like your
laundry.
general education classes in college that you have to get through to get to the stuff you care about.
Sure.
It's all optional.
Yeah. Um, but with that said, I think we'll wrap it up here. It's man, it feels good to just talk about games again. And
Yeah, it's
with
been a
that
minute.
said, next time we meet, next time we get together, we'll be streaming games.
Hmm.
But
And then I think
after
it's an
that,
anime episode.
it will be our anime episode. So we'll be back soon. I will be talking about Dead Island 2 next time.
Are you really?
Uh huh.
Huh. All right. Then I will be discussing what can only be described as one of the funniest things I've ever encountered. Thank goodness you're here.
And with that said, thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time. We know it's been a minute. We're life, you know. But we'll see you all next time. Follow us,
Mhm.
comment, feedback, suggestions, all the good stuff. And we'll talk to you next time. So with that said, Darren.
Are you convinced yet?